Making the move on the
my God.
inside.
Oh
Here he comes.
He's on the inside. Oh my God, he's on the inside. Oh my God.
Just the big swinging dick.
He wins by a wiener.
Oh,
Look at how many fans are
That's
there, man.
awesome.
Oh my God.
All right, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode. And I'm really excited this week because it's Mission Impossible Part 2, The Dead Reckoning, or The Final Reckoning is the next episode, and it just came out. And I'm super excited to see it in fucking theaters because I think Tom Cruise is the best action movie star of all time.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like, I'm going on Saturday at the drive-in just because I don't like the theater. But
Yeah.
I love the Mission Impossible series, and some people are like, I've never seen it. I'm like,
There's so many out there. Have you not seen one of them?
I've seen
like
everything.
that exist.
I don't know how you haven't seen all of them. Like, if you like action movies, it's appointment viewing.
Here's
Yeah.
my thought process. Have you guys seen Prison Break?
Yeah.
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 Okay. How many times can you break out of prison? How many fucking impossible missions are there? There's a certain point it's got to be like, okay, this mission is possible. Like, come on.
Yeah, but you got to think in like real life. Like, there's more than 20 impossible missions even in real life. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah, but, like-
I'm pretty sure they can come up with like 7, Terry.
And I think it's the totality of it all. Like,
Is it one long mission? Like, he's still,
No,
he's
but-
still trying to complete?
That's the theory I have, and the ending of this one is it ties in basically what we've been like Avengers Endgame.
It does tie in everything because I've heard, and I even kind of mentioned a little bit to Babs at the end of last episode, like offset.
Mhm.
I was saying like apparently you kind of have to watch episodes 1, 3, and 5 just to kind of like catch up again, and that it will be tying in characters all the way to like the first movie, which is like 22 years or something ago.
Wow.
Okay, is this like Saw? Are there like 10 movies? What's going on
There's
here?
I think there's 20, isn't there?
No, but
No,
I
no,
can
that's
but I
not 20.
I can
Oh my
I can
God.
appreciate it. Like we're not talking about like the Fast and Furious
Yes.
series where like they're going to the fucking moon every
They're
time
going
now.
faster?
Right, but it's with this series, like, you have to appreciate what Tom Cruise has not only created and the vision, let alone done it. Like, it's not CGI. These are practical stunts, and he's like one of, maybe only one of, that's doing death-defying. Like, I don't know how there's an insurance company that's like saying, we will make sure that Tom Cruise is a fucking client.
I
of
don't
ours.
think that there is. I would have to assume maybe he's not insured.
He's got to put up like collateral or something. Like,
There has to be
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It can't just be your straight up like stunt guy insurance.
yeah.
Although at this rate, is he just not a stunt guy?
Well, yeah, like it's the same thing. Like when I remember when Crocodile Dundee and like that movie, and then what was the crocodile guy that died in
Steve
Australia?
Irwin.
Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
So like
almost said
there's
Austin.
certain people because they have a higher risk or prone to risk in accidents that they'll just flat out like not insure,
Mhm.
right? Like if you're always in the X Games or doing paragliding or skydiving and shit, they'll just be like you're uninsurable.
Yeah.
Right. But I
Really?
would assume because it's Tom Cruise, you want to be able to have that on your portfolio as the insurance company saying Tom Cruise is our number one fucking client.
Maybe the
We've never had
payout's
to pay
just
out.
smaller.
Right.
Like that
Maybe.
would have to be like there would have to be some like consolidation at some point. I'm assuming it's like that, but UFC fighters also get insured too, though, and they're getting blows to the head repeatedly.
Yeah, I think that's a little different because you're like breaking bones as opposed to potentially dying in a car crash.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
people have
how many-
died. People
how-
have died in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
Boxing, not MMA.
Oh,
I
in
don't know if
MMA
there's
there
been.
has been. In the UFC, there's not been a death, but in MMA as a whole, there's been many.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
but yeah, UFC never had any. His most serious injury was like a leg break, I think. In all honesty, like Connor and
Yes, because
Anderson,
what's his name?
Weidman.
Dada 5000 had the heart attack in Bellator.
Oh,
Right,
Bellator.
that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yes.
You're right. That was scary.
That was
Ugh.
just
It was an ugly fight, and then it was like,
Yeah.
oh no,
you can't even call that fight ugly. It just was. It was like just two fat
old-
drunk dudes
yeah,
in
too
the
old.
corner.
too old.
It's like
man.
bum fights or something.
No, it was
that was worse. That was worse. I'd rather watch bum fights.
Because Dada had that bad haircut. Is Dada dead, or is Kimbo
Kimbo.
Slice?
Kimbo Slice is
yeah.
dead.
Yeah, but
Yes.
Dada 5000 in his triangle octagon type MMA fighting ring is still available on offshore boats and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, they were fighting on a boat because they
No
couldn't get
way.
legalized in Florida to have
Wow.
his. It's
Why
a
don't you fight on
triangle.
reserves at that point?
But I also assume like those are kind of guys that are like also doing nefarious drugs, illegal drugs, PEDs. Like when it's not like sanctioned or licensed like MMA fights, and it's like in Chile or something.
Yeah.
Right, or it's like off seas, like Simpsons, where it's like the monkeys fighting on the boat. in
Okay,
the
so I'm
Simpsons
thinking of the
episode.
like fighting on the
International
boat, and
waters.
it's like it's rocking as you're trying to fight. Like, what is going on?
It's like one too many guys had a couple too many nose
Yeah.
beers. It's just like what's going on here? Like, of course,
Yeah.
someone's gonna have a heart attack and die.
Yeah, that's a sad. That was that the same card also where Frank Shamrock fought Royce Gracie.
Oh,
Was
I
that the
don't-
same
I
card?
don't think so.
Bellator had.
I want to say that
multiple-
was like a Ryan Bader on that card.
but Bellator had back to back in the span of like a year. Just insane. Like,
Old
why
man
are we
cards.
doing these fights?
Yes.
Right.
Fights.
My buddy's been pitching for the longest time, like a UFC Legends League, where you just get all the old guys fighting, and they're still making money, and people still want to see them. Like the GFL that almost got started is a prime example of that. The old guys that people don't want to have fighting in their organization, but fans still want to watch, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you can still get like Logan Paul and fucking Mike Tyson fighting, and Mike Tyson's like what, like 64 or something,
Yeah.
and like Mike was definitely pulling his punches and could have destroyed.
I don't think he could have. I think
No,
Mike's
I don't think
leg
so.
was shot. I believe his knee is like jello at this point, and he
Yeah.
couldn't put the weight down.
I think
You
he
can see him-
knows too.
You can see him fighting. Like, he was not able to load up on any shots, and he wasn't able to like bob and weave and stray forward. I don't think Mike had a chance to win the fight simply because I think his knee is like completely gone, amongst other issues.
Right.
I think the fact he's also 60+ years old, he can't go like he used to. If he throws one combo of him trying, it's gonna be like,
He's out.
I'm fucking dead
gassed.
now. Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to be able to
Yeah.
fight 6 rounds and try to defend myself.
Yeah.
Towards the end of it, where it was bad at the end, where Jake was just piecing him up.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That stuff kind of like the like old veteran fights and stuff. Like, I'm just kind of like not there for that. Like, Bellator was doing it. Like, eventually they got to the point where like they'd have like a couple guys mixed in, and it wasn't like these are our marquee fights. Actually started to get somewhere.
yes.
And now MMA just like they dropped the nuke on it, and the PFL is just absolutely fist fucking the whole thing up. The UFC's doing their thing, and there's like no competition. It's just like the PFL does some stuff,
Right.
and we kept some of these fighters, and then there's all these guys that are letting go as free agents that like
Mhm.
UFC would have loved to have. Like,
Yeah.
the UFC's going to get even more stacked now because PFL bought Bellator, couldn't retain everybody, didn't run events, and now like we don't have the MMA space is so much worse off now because
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, there's dudes that I had watched growing up in this sport, watching it, and it's like now they're coming over to the UFC, and it's exciting. It's this guy's finally getting his chance. Who's been sitting on the shelf in Bellator for 5 years, Patchy Mix.
Yeah.
He's I think 13, 14-1, maybe higher now at this point, but
Mhm.
dude is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now he's finally getting a shot in the UFC, and it's like, here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's super entertaining, and you know what else is entertaining? The fact that Bigamans is going to be opening up in like a week or two here, and obviously we're the Sofa Kings coming live from Bigaman Studios and Bigaman's Entertainment Complex here, and you know, super excited for today's episode. So
Yeah, I want to say something. I thought I had tricked you guys, and I thought that the producer might have agreed with me in my trickery. When I screwed up my bets last week, I multiple times on the show had you guys agree that I could only win 9 of my bets and never specifying which of those 9 were. And I said a few times, hey, I can only take 9 of my, whatever. I can only win 9. And you guys said yes. I feel like my record should be different.
and we're all going to call bullshit on that.
Yeah, 100%
So
bullshit.
because we all said that, yeah, you can win 9 bets, but it's because we had to take away the 2 that you fucked up on your
The
challenge
2
card,
illegal
Yeah.
which
bets.
means you could have won up to 9, not that you could have won any 9 remaining.
I said 9 of 11, I believe.
I think now we just know that Babs is a little sneaky.
Yeah,
So now we
yeah.
got to
So
be
fucking
careful.
lean
Like
In a court of law, I'm going to take you guys to court, and we'll decide. The comments will decide if I earned those
when we
points.
place our bets today and we come back to the sofas, I'm gonna have like an official contract for you to sign saying like you can't like word like it's gonna be just airtight.
Well, theoretically, I shouldn't have that problem happen again.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking
It's
of
going to be
problem-
30 seconds to put 11 bets in.
yeah.
I know, and you can see. I watched back the recording. You can see one where I say like, "Oh, I'm going to take that one back," and I click, but it does. I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't take the
delete
lead
it.
off.
no.
So you can see me actually like try and pull back the mistake, which makes it even worse. But pulling back mistakes, Carolina dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said last episode, I think that was going to be an indicator the series was close. And now I'm like, Florida's winning the Stanley Cup. I'm over. I'm done. I can't believe it.
How about Rob Brendamore basically just calling out every single good player on his team and just basically being like, Jordan Stahl and Martin can't be our 2 best players? Like, dude, shot across the bow, man. Like,
He's trying to save his job. He'll get fired.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're safe. Like, what do you? I don't think you can save your job at this point. Like,
No, you
Probably
there's
not.
there's nothing you can say or do that's gonna allow you to retain your job.
maybe he's auditioning, like like for like a vacancy
You're
or
just-
something.
You're going down with a fight. is
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, respect.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
what do you do when your star players aren't showing up?
That's Toronto.
Yeah.
No, I think this is worse than Toronto though.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah,
I agree.
I was
I
saying
do
that on
agree.
TikTok too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do 100%
it's worse
agree.
than Toronto. Like this is like once again, like Toronto hasn't gotten to that 3rd level, right? Where you're going to the Eastern Conference Finals, but it's just you can't go back there and be now potentially 0-16 if you win your next one, right? And they haven't really retooled, and like they're just coming off as frauds right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
They added pieces, right? Taylor Hall, I don't think anyone's to be like, oh, that was a bad pickup. And they tried to get Rantanen to work out, and it didn't work out, so they shove him out. And then they get Stanko, and a guy who I'm like really big on long term, I think is a fantastic pickup. I think this is just bad juju from the owner being a cheap fuck. I think
Except for when he wants to offer sheet Montreal as payback, then he'll pay like a good chunk.
Oh, that's different though, because that's ego. But when he's like, I don't want to pay the scouts' phone bills. Why am I paying for their phone?
Right.
This is it. This is
Yeah.
the karma.
Yeah.
Like I would also lay some blame here at Eric Tulsky, which is the GM for the Hurricanes, and I can appreciate taking a fucking swing for the fence with Rantanen.
Yeah.
Like, I can fully fucking appreciate saying, you know what, we'll do it and we'll try to figure it out after. Like if
Yeah.
and you're trying to improve your team, so like you got to give them merit and credit there. I kind of resort that a little bit back to like the Raptors when they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they fired Dwayne Casey, right? So he won Coach of the Year,
Yeah.
right? And Toronto had an amazing, and then they replaced their coach, and then went back with Kawhi Leonard and won,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? So like I can appreciate taking a big calculated risk, swinging for the fence and saying, hey, like we're pretty good, but I'm going to try to get us over the hump and get us better.
Yeah.
Making that decision, and it didn't work out this time for Eric.
The Carolina Hurricanes last won a conference final game 2 years after the very first iPhone came out.
Yeah.
The very first iPhone, the little brick like big one. I don't know. There's just something about like, I know we talked about the Leafs and like there's like bad juju with them, but there's like you look over at Carolina and it's just like I agree with you guys. It's totally worse.
There's
like,
no juju
I
over
don't.
there.
Yeah.
There's just it's just like good for Rantanen for getting out of there. Imagine if imagine signing a
He might have been the
there.
difference maker, though. That's the thing
Oh, for-
in this
for
situation. is
sure.
They might actually be getting over the hump a little
I
bit
don't know
more
if
with
one
him.
guy does that for Carolina.
Yeah,
though.
that's the hard
Like
part.
there is inherently more problems here. I would rather lose 7 in round 2 to Florida than 0-4 in the third round to Florida or Carolina
Yeah.
or whomever.
Yeah.
No, understandably, though. And
Yeah.
seeding is the reason why they've also been.
Yeah.
The seeding is, we can't beat that one to death.
Yeah.
But you look at Edmonton, it's the same thing where like, hey, we're going to run back the same goalie again, but they did change pieces around, and
Yeah.
people are going to eventually say like, hey, if this doesn't work out this time, they're going to say like, okay, well, like that's the end. Carolina, it's the end. You have to blow things up. Toronto, a similar situation. Like, yeah, we've done this again. Got to change it up. It's insane that there's 3 teams perennially in the exact same position in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs,
Yeah.
repeatedly this much with this issue.
Yeah.
I don't recall this ever being a thing. You'd have teams cycle through. Instead, it's just like stagnation, and then somehow the team just goes, oh, we're good, and then just busts through all of them.
Yeah.
Like I think you'd see 1 or 2 teams, and maybe you guys can agree or not, but like, you had Chicago that had that run for several years. You had Boston that had a run for several years. Tampa Bay ran for a couple years. Colorado's already
another.
Detroit before.
Mhm.
So like I think there's Penguins. Like you could run through a number of teams that 2 or 3 kind of ran there for like 5, 6, 7 years. But yeah, like I would agree. Like there's inherently a problem right now in the NHL. Whether some people might see that as good or bad,
Yeah.
to be able to always have like 3 teams, typically making it over a stretch of time, I don't think necessarily looks the best.
I think if you're a fan of one of those 4 teams, you don't mind it because you're just like my team's. Well, unless you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan,
Yeah.
that's a different
Yeah.
story.
I
Yeah.
think Oilers fans are probably sick of this shit too. Or are they not as bad? Do they still have like rose-colored glasses
For
on?
sure.
I,
They're making it to the finals.
Yeah.
You're happy with it regardless.
yeah, I think in Edmonton's case, it's a little bit more different because like they were so close. Like last year, they
Mhm.
literally almost reverse swept the Panthers in the finals. Like
Mhm.
you give them a little bit of like not a gimme this season, but like it's a little bit more of that. Like it's not like Carolina where they're 0-14 or 0, I think it's 0-15 now. It's like they've actually gotten close. They were 1 game away. And like I talked about it like a couple episodes ago. I think one of our episodes was titled like Edmonton needs a goalie.
Mhm.
And I said like it's very like it's literally like Stuart Skinner flip a coin. It's like
Yeah.
bad or good. And to his credit, the last 2 games he has been lights out. I think it's 1 goal in both games. I think the last game before was like
Even in his
5-1.
last 5, he's had the one bad game, and every
Yeah.
other game is a shutout or 1 goal against today.
Yeah, and when he's on his game, he's really good.
Yeah.
When he's off his game, like
Hoo-hoo.
Terry, you can agree with it.
Buckle
It's
in.
one of those like, oh, like you're strapping in tight on the car ride, hoping that the car doesn't fall off the cliff, kind of thing.
Yeah, like Charlie was asking the group chat earlier about taking the over or under for Edmonton. I was like, man, it's Edmonton in this series. I feel like you have to take the over. How do you
Yeah.
not? But
Yeah.
3-0 win. You took the under on that?
I took the under.
Smart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
smart bastard. And just to kind of revert back to our scoreboard here from our last bets, I got trolled on TikTok because I also posted like another $1 bet for a 12 leg instead of like our normal 11 leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were just roasting me. He's like, "Why are you complaining about a fucking dollar, Charlie? Like, what's going on? Like, why are you taking a minus 7,000? Why are you taking a minus 700?" I'm like, "There's also like 3 or 4 plus plus 1 or 200
Yeah.
in there as well." So it's when we're going back to our bets from this week, producer Nick, Babs, you got so you went 7-4, and then Terry, you went 7-4.
Yes.
And then Rahil was our big winner of going 9-2,
9-2.
and I shit the bed going 6-5.
But you told me it could have been way worse.
Yeah, so like on my ticket, I was before my ticket completed, I was gonna be 3-8 or 4-7.
Yeah.
So both of my two WNBA picks, going into the third quarter, were like massively down. I mean, like more than like 14.
You thought it was over.
One was like minus 18. I was like, I'm so fucked right now. I was complaining to Nick the whole time in Discord. And then I just I kind of put it out of my head, and I looked back like an hour later, and both of them came back with like minutes left in their game and like went on like 17-0 runs, came back, and I was like, there's no way that I should have been, over 500 on my ticket.
That's crazy.
I got very fucking lucky.
That's crazy. The only unfortunate ones for me was the Mariners missed, and then that Florida game where I had a bunch of shot props. Like, it was like a super low shot game. I think the final shots were like 20 something, like 16. So Ekblad didn't get me a shot on goal, but Babs, you feel the heat. I'm
Not
right
at
there,
all,
man.
No, I'm still disagreeing with how things were scored, but no, I think as time goes on and I start to learn how to like play the game better, I think there's ways to always find a bit of an advantage. And also, I mean, I have people I can ask how they would deal with some of these things. We're starting to get to the spot where maybe I have to change the strategy up, and then you guys will start copying me again. But whatever, ride my coattails.
And Terry, I think this was your best week so far for the Sofa Kings.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's progress,
It's
man.
rough.
It's baby steps.
Well,
steps.
I got fucked last week, so
I was gonna
I
say
didn't
last
have a
week-
chance.
Yeah, that's kind of unfair. But like, I mean, like,
Oh yeah,
It-
you say it's unfair. That's crazy.
hey, man, I could get another advantage card. Maybe I won't give it to you this time. We'll
So, yeah,
see.
so-
I think you
Hopefully
almost
not.
have to.
Yeah.
For the sake-
Yo, no,
for the
no.
sake of the
see
show.
how he's doing the game within the game
yeah.
again?
Yeah.
This is crazy. We see. This is what I think. Like
Playing you like a
Babs right
fucking
now
puppet.
is showing his fucking true colors a little.
Yeah.
Look at that fuck. Look at those beady little eyes right now.
Yeah, dude.
He's sizing everybody up, saying "fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." You're cool.
Ted Bundy had the same look in his eyes.
Yeah.
There's a difference between me and Ted.
I think for me, if I'm gonna catch up to Babs, I think I need a bet on a Paul Skeens game. When he's pitching,
Right.
my God, this guy is absolutely lights out. He's had 34 MLB starts, 47 earned runs in those starts.
Yeah, which is just unheard of.
That's absolutely, and like I've been, you start to hear it because it's so funny in MLB when there's a really good like young guy starting to emerge. Year one, it's like his breakout year, and then the second, like I think this is his second or third year, I can't remember, but the second he starts to like
Second
hit
year.
that second year, it's like, oh, the Dodgers might be interested in him. Oh, this team might be interested, and I'm like, of course it's the freaking Dodgers. Like, Paul, if you ever watch the show, please don't go to the Dodgers. I don't want him to go there. I don't know about you guys, but
Get your bag, Paul.
no, don't
We
go
care
there.
about you.
Yeah, it's unfortunate what's happening in Pittsburgh, and like he still has term left on his deal.
Yeah.
But they're like, do you trade him at his highest value right now to set up your team, 2-3 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
And ownership and making those decisions, that's a really tough call when you've got like this centrifugal force that's within your team. It's like having a Connor McDavid and then having absolutely fucking nothing around him,
Yeah.
right? Or it's kind of like what Sidney Crosby is going through right now. Like,
Oof.
you still want to see him doing the best. He's still playing at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't have the pieces around him.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate to see that because he's just an incredible talent, and he's gonna, obviously gonna be a Hall of Famer one year. I don't know who I would compare him to. Like when I think about what he's doing now, heading into his second year, I think of like, Roger Clemens. Obviously before like
Yeah.
PEDs. I think of like Nolan Ryan. I'm older than you guys, so I think about Nolan Ryan. Like where do you see him being comparable to maybe someone in the last 20 or 30 years?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like I can't remember the last time I've seen a young pitcher this electric.
Right.
Like just like out of the gates. Like you think of some of the other guys, and usually they found their way to like scale up or something like that. Like I don't even know. Like what's the ceiling for? I don't think there is a ceiling for this guy. I think like You talk about Clemens, you talk about Ryan, like the greats of like MLB pitching, like Roy Halladay and stuff like that. Like I think if someone were to say like, you know, at the end of Paul Skeen's career, he's going to be up there with them, it wouldn't really surprise anyone.
Right.
You know what is surprising though, and I didn't think that this still was a thing that existed. Did you guys see the Wiener Dog cars? I thought there was like only like maybe one Wiener Dog car left, and they had like several on the track.
I did not see
The
this.
Wiener 500 race might be the funniest thing I've seen
Are you
in
guys
the past
pranking
week.
me right now? Is
No,
this a
this
real
is
No,
thing?
dead
no,
ass
no.
No, it's a real thing.
Nick,
Yeah,
can we get this on the screen, please? Pull up the Wiener 500 from our Discord.
Oh my God, this is going to be
This is
crazy.
actually
so it's just
so
Wiener
funny.
cars.
Yeah, it's like they had like the
This is
Like
riveting
the
stuff, dude.
Oscar Mayer Wiener mobile. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
fucking hot dogs
Yes.
racing on
Why am I
Indy.
watching Formula 1? I should be watching
Dude.
this, man.
I,
This
I
is
didn't
way
even know
better.
Monaco was on until like it was on the TV when I was trying to watch the World Championships
Yeah.
today. But yeah, I'm not a big race car guy, but like when stuff like this happens or like just like the cool stuff, I always remember the Wienermobile being like a thing of people talking about it because like brands used to have like personalities and
Yeah.
like that's not a real thing. But yeah, they have multiple cars, and I'm like, I thought this was like blimps where like there's like 4 blimps left in the world. But yeah, they actually have multiple Wiener cars.
Yeah.
And they race them.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, we
and-
got it
and-
up here.
yeah,
So-
and yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, like
Look at the lead.
the Weenie 500?
Yes.
This is amazing.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, one of these has to be so expensive to have made too, because like you got to look at it. Like, there's a lot of pieces to this.
I would
thing.
argue this is more expensive than an F1 car. I'd rather drive this than an F1
I would
car.
rather drive this for sure.
This is practical. You could
I would
probably
make this
store
my
a lot of-
daily driver.
You know what they should do if they really want to like hit on marketing here? As someone who's worked in marketing, have this around the National Hot Dog Eating Competition.
Oh, that'd be
have it
so
back to back,
funny.
like literally. That is just like pure like no. We talked about like Victoria Day and like a sports like.
Wait. Can we get the
franchise.
ending of that? The ending is amazing, please.
Because I know Nathan's Hot Dogs is like the big sponsor for
Yeah.
for that stuff,
Mhm.
which is funny. And there was all that controversy in that Jimmy or was it Mr. Chestnut?
Joey,
Yeah,
Jimmy
Joey
Chestnut.
Joey
Joey,
Chestnut
Joey.
was like
the
not allowed to
greatest
com-
natural born athlete of all time.
not allowed.
Yeah, because he signed a partnership with like
Yeah.
a rival company, right?
Yeah,
so they
and
wouldn't allow him
amazing.
in the competition.
How can one hot dog company run all of hot dog eating contests?
We
There-
need
yeah.
more
Do you
hot
know
dog
who Nathan
diversity,
is, dude. His dogs are something else. This is amazing. Watch this.
I want to know what car they used for this.
Maxed out.
Did he say 16 miles an hour?
How did they had to tow these to get here? Like in a they had to put them.
They
in a
probably
truck.
had to like like gliders, how you have to start them up. I think that's what they do to these.
Look at
And
this.
then yeah, watch
Look
this.
at this.
Making the move on
Oh
the
my God.
inside.
Oh my
Here
God.
he comes.
He's on the inside. Oh my God, he's on the inside. Oh my God.
Just the big swinging dick.
He wins
Slow
by a
dog!
wiener.
Oh, that's
Look at how many
insane.
fans are
That's
there, man.
awesome.
Oh my God. Okay,
Dude, wait
listen.
for the cut. Wait for the cut here. This is so funny. Yes, the fan in the hot dog outfit.
Charlie, if we ever get the chance to do an activation, can we please go to the Weenie 500?
Oh, 100%.
Oh,
Just have the sofas on there, interview the
Man.
drivers. That is absolutely
That's so
awesome.
funny.
You know what's crazy about the Indy 500? So, Lazarus Esports, we pitched the first ever like racing esports competition live activation, and so we pitched Indy, and we did it like I don't know March or April 2019, and
Yeah.
we did their first ever esports gaming activation
Damn.
with professional race car drivers, the crowd, the fans. Set it up right there at Indy 500 in Indianapolis. We were the first ever
That's
to do
pretty
that.
cool.
So something I'm proud of.
Weenie Indy 500 2026, Sofa Kings.
Speaking of Indianapolis, did you see the owner of the Colts passed away?
Yeah, that you passed
Oh,
that. Yeah.
did he?
No.
Day of, he's like, yeah, getting ready to go to the Pacers game, and then now he's out. And I wonder if there's gonna be a lot of changes in Indianapolis because that is an example of a team like maybe kind of like the Carolina Hurricanes. The NFL has turnover, so it's a bit different, but that just like completely repeatedly just shit the bed with like an all-star cast on defense and like
Yeah.
an offense that was supposed to be good. I wonder if now they're gonna see like big changes in Indy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Jim Urshaw.
Ursay.
Ursay, that's right. And yeah, it's unfortunate. And you've seen this, obviously because a lot of the owner, like billionaire owners, are like older gentlemen,
Yeah.
or older families that have like a majority stake. And usually when that grandfather or father passes away, a lot of times like the wife still stays on, or the kid, like if you look at like Steinbrenner or like the Yankees, and then obviously his son took over. Those things, like typically, unless like they want to just get out of it and take their money and cut the check
Yeah.
and run, a lot of times it still stays within the family, and the spouse often, like if you look at like Major League Baseball, the movie with Charlie Sheen, she was trying to like run them out of Cleveland and get them to sell because she wanted to put up like go to another city. And so there's a lot of like families that do that, like they'll undercut like what that their husband had done before, or make crazy unilateral decisions. And so hopefully everything turns out well for the Colts, and it's unfortunate what happened.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's he was obviously like very old, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's with the team too. He was like grew up because his dad owned the team at Baltimore, and then they moved to Indy and stuff.
Yep.
Memorial Cup, guys. Have you watched any? I've watched a bit. Been trying to catch it over the weekend.
I haven't watched it, but I've been keeping up with it.
Mhm.
I think is it Moncton that's up there?
Yeah, there's Moncton, Medicine Hat, London, and Rimouski. I caught a little bit of the London game, the last London game. I think that's the one where they won in overtime.
Yeah, one in overtime.
Yeah, and because then Easton Cowan did like a video after and was like viral for what he was doing and talking about. And so it's great to see, and it's just like early into the round robin right now.
Yeah.
So I think they're only through. I think 2 teams are only through like 1 game, and the other 2 are through 2 games.
Yeah, I think there's either a game on right now or later today.
Pretty sure there might be a game on literally.
Yeah,
right now as we
London's
speak.
playing right now.
So there'll be that. It wasn't Moncton. It was Medicine Hat. I was getting confused with because I haven't paid much attention to junior aside from like I think like I've been to 1 or 2 games this year. But like Medicine Hat wasn't a team that I thought was going to be good. Like that kind of surprised me. Like you obviously know like London, like Kitchener's a decent team, but like Medicine Hat, I guess maybe because they're in the West. They're in the West, right?
Yeah, in the West, you don't hear about them as much, and like I think there's a lot of like the one good thing about like the CHL, it's like there's a lot of parity. Like you can be good 1 year, and then 2 years later you're dog shit, and somebody else is right up there.
Yeah.
I like watching the tournament. It's just a shame that it conflicts so much with like the Western and Eastern Conference Final in the NHL. I feel like it gets overshadowed. And you have the World Championships going on at the same time. USA got a medal today. Wow, you get at least you got one on the men's side. That actually really is like your top
First
players.
in 92 years,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
I was praying the Swiss were gonna take that though.
Oh,
How
that would have
funny
been
would it be?
hilarious.
Yes.
If the Swiss took gold and Denmark managed to steal bronze, that would have been the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
The only like positive side of America winning is the Johnny Gaudreau jersey they put on the trophy.
That was nice.
That fills your heart. You're like, damn, all right.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're
I can
like,
respect
I
that.
know all the American hockey fans are gonna be like, oh, Canada couldn't get it done, but it's like, yeah, that's a nice moment. But hey, we got our 4 Nations Cup. I'm happy
Now,
with that.
are the states the Toronto Maple Leafs of the IIHF? Because 92 years is a long time. Leaf fans, can you wait that long?
Yeah, the U.S. had a smaller base of elite players to pull from. So if their elite players were in the playoffs, it really damaged the success of their team at the World Championship.
Yeah.
And I believe Brian Burke also spoke about, or no, it was not him. Somebody else spoke about it. He goes, U.S. players don't care and won't come play on the team. And they said to guys like, hey, like we won't maybe pick you for the 4 Nations if you don't come play at the World Championship. And they're still like, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's why Tage Thompson sniped one in overtime today.
Man, I feel Tage Thompson deserves better than being a Buffalo.
You're not wrong, but he didn't get picked for 4 Nations, shows up to this, and is the hero.
Well,
golden
and
goal.
it's interesting that you talk about Babs, like just to pivot off that, like how like like some people are like, oh, if you don't come to 4 Nations, you're not going to come to the World Championships, because like some of the snubs this year, like that second half, like for Montreal specifically, like Suzuki and Caulfield popped off the second they didn't get chosen, and like. I'm kind of glad they didn't get chosen. Like, it kind of lit a fire under them, I think. And I know there were some other guys around the
Scheifele
league.
too.
I think Scheifele was one. I think Thompson did okay in his second half, if I'm not mistaken. Or there was someone there was an American player besides Caulfield who popped off.
Yeah, because you had like Brock Nelson on that roster, and then you like compared just based on the years, and you go like, I think that might have been a miscue on their part.
Yep.
It like the World Championships matters to players for multiple reasons. A, winning and whatever. And then, like, after you play a game, going out with the boys and having fun over in Europe.
Yeah.
Like, the guys love that because a lot of these players will, like, never sniff Europe because they don't have to. So they get to go and have a bit of, like, the Euro experience, get away from the wife, kids, or if they don't have one, then they get to have extra lots
A little
of
bit
fun.
more fun.
A little bit more.
A little bit more fun. Although that's never stopped any of them anyways.
Right.
But, no, I the idea of it's fun, and you get to see some of these countries, like, get a cup of tea, and maybe a goalie shows, like, hey, I can still hang, and they get an opportunity because of success at the World Championships. Like, I know the goalie for Denmark, I believe, is a Canadians prospect. So, like, he played really, really well. So, like, maybe he plays in the AHL next year, and they kind of give him a bit of a run.
Give him a sniff, yeah.
Young players, too. Like, Brandside Nygaard, I believe, played last year when with Norway, and like it was a good showing for some of those guys. Martone got some action, so like that stuff's positive. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about like moving tournaments around to like better suit the schedule, and I think like the World Championships is just an unfortunate one that you just.
This would be so much better in the summer.
Yeah, just guys are like, nah, I need to relax. Or
No, for sure.
wives will be like, no, fuck you, I get July.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Now, I feel it's a lost opportunity. Olympics this year, though, that's going to be nuts because the fire behind it's, I think, even be even bigger.
Mm-hmm. And this is going to be like, what was it 2014? That was the last time, or 2018?
Sochi was the last.
Yeah.
So
time.
2014. So it's
was.
literally been over. It'll be 12 years, and like I kind of feel bad. Like the Russians aren't going to be there.
Yeah,
It's a pending thing, but like it sounds like they're not going to be there.
and I wonder if they're going to do Olympic athletes from Russia, and that we'll have one of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. They'll
true.
just be like team not representing.
Team not Russia,
Yeah.
but Russia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And like that's still a kick in the balls enough to them, and it doesn't count towards any of their like records and stuff. Italy will be interesting. Olympic ice favors Canada over some of the other countries like the Americans. The Americans
Yes.
play a lot tougher game. So Canada's full roster on the big open ice. The U.S. will be able to bully them a little bit less. I think that'll be really interesting to see the big open ice if they play on Olympic ice. I'm assuming that's the game plan.
Yeah.
Because it usually is.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. I think that could be exciting over in Italy.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see like the Four Nations gave us a bit of a sniff of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like I'm just excited to see like as fun as the Four Nations was, and I hope they do continue to do it because that was exciting. But like I just want to see Olympic hockey. Like I want to see Connor McDavid play for Team Canada in the Olympics.
I just want to see best on best.
Yeah.
Just
That's
give me
exactly
the
it.
fucking best.
Yeah.
And like if it's anything like the World Hockey that just went on, where everybody was fighting Americans, Canadians, and that was like such a spectacle, having 3 fights in like under 2 minutes.
Yes.
Right? Like that had fucking everybody talking on Twitter. And
Yeah.
it didn't matter if you were an NHL fan or not, if you were an NBA guy, an NFL guy, or golf guy, a tennis person or woman, everybody was talking about that fucking game.
Yeah, I
Unfortunately,
think
though.
I was gonna say you're gonna talk about the refs, in the
They
IHF.
won't double IHF refs.
Yeah.
and
No,
that.
I know. It's just bullshit.
There'll be no fights, and
Yeah.
also there's more penalties.
Yeah.
Given the way that we saw like the style play in the Four Nations, double IHF referees and the calls they make are a bit different. Again,
Yeah.
another thing favoring Canada's more
I
skilled
was just
position.
gonna say, like, I'm intrigued to see how I think it was talked about the Four Nations. How did the Kachuk brothers handle going to the Olympics? Because it's going to be
Ooh.
called a lot tighter.
Yeah.
Like, some of their hits are going to get called
point.
more. It's going to get in their heads. It's probably going to bother them a little bit. And, like, the American team overall, like you said, like, they're a little bit tougher. Canada's a little bit more of that skilled. Like, they'll be able to take advantage of, like, the more open ice and stuff. I could, hey, like, as a Canadian, how funny would it be if the U.S. didn't even make it to the quarters because they were just imploding on themselves?
I think they'll be able to like deal with it a little bit, but I think it will affect their game because like the cross check into the back behind the whistle, the slash after the whistle, the second push
Those
you give
get
after
called.
the whistle,
Mhm.
you're gonna get pieced up. And if they can't keep their heads, and you have a guy like Brad Marchand, who I think would be excellent at abusing the double IHF rules to get calls, I think you're in a really funny spot.
Right. Just
Yeah.
doing the odd slew foot when no one's looking.
Exactly, yeah. The one team I'd be excited for to see at the Olympics is Finland. I think it was game 2, Dallas Edmonton. It was the first time like an all Finnish lineup
Yeah.
started.
Mm.
Like the Finns, like they're going to be a
Get
good
some
team too.
studs.
They probably medal at some point, I think, but like I don't know. Finland's always been a team I've kind of liked. Like Sakakoi was my favorite player growing up. He was Finnish as well. But like I don't know. Like Canada's obviously the early favorites. U.S. is going to be good. Sweden, Finland.
What
like,
about Team Italy? So like they'll have guys that are Canadian that just have Italian grandparents
Yeah.
and parents.
Mm.
I wonder what Team Italy is gonna look like. Like how we're like, oh, what's the men's team for Team China gonna look like? And then they are like, we're gonna do it. No, we're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
I want to see what Team Italy is gonna look
They're,
like.
they're going to be too bloated from all the spaghetti. and fucking fettuccine.
Well, it's interesting because there was one Olympic snowboarder who was like, I think she was American and she couldn't qualify for the American team, so she had dual nationality
Dual
on some
citizenship.
random team or random country, and she qualified there and like
Mhm.
she did mediocre. Like you said, like there's probably going to be a couple Canadian guys who are like, I'm dual citizen. I'm probably playing like like maybe ECHL or one of the other leagues
Didn't
like
make the cut.
Europe or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that, like not the top leagues in Europe. And I mean, Italy might win a couple games.
I don't think Italy will win. a single game, brother.
No,
not,
I don't
not
think so
even
either.
close. If they steal
Unless
one,
they play China or something, you know what I mean?
they could make like maybe they're playing like a bottom ranked team
Yeah.
and their goalie has like throws a shutty somehow. depending on who their goalie is, like, yeah, if they grab a sick one or they get guys from Major Junior that, like, that are, like, Italian.
Mhm.
I know they have some players now in comparison to years previous where we're like, they don't have any NHL prospects. I believe there is one Italian. He might be a goalie. But there isn't at least a Italian elite prospect right now. And I love having like the team that gets to go in because they're hosting the same way in the Memorial Cup, which worked out that the teams were in the final anyway. So like no one was bitching. Even though the queue was weaker this year, and you probably could have taken somebody else into the tournament. But the Olympics will be fun. I'm interested to see how, like, because in Italy, like, there's less to be fucked up, I think, because they've also, like, hosted before. As opposed to, like, this year where we're like, they don't have meat for the athletes, and, like, the athletes' beds are cardboard, and it's not going well. And, like,
that was crazy.
Yeah, because they were in a dump.
Yeah, I was like, if I get my fat ass on that cardboard bed, I'm fucking I'm
sleeping on the floor.
I'm on the ground.
You can't fuck on them either, apparently. That's not great. I mean, there's a ton of fucking going on at the Olympics.
They hand out condoms like it's fucking high school.
Yeah.
But we made these beds specially designed to collapse if you try to bang.
Yeah, I want to see this hopefully go well where there's no bitching and they're like, we tried to make this carbon neutral, and like all the athletes are furious. Or like having to go somewhere else to get food. Because I remember like one of the countries was like, "Whoa, we're bringing in our own private chefs." And then also we saw another thing we saw, which was sad, was just empty stands. Like women's soccer, Canada was playing somebody, and I remember like looking up into the stands and going like, the whole upper bowl's empty. Like people don't want to come to this country to watch the Olympics.
Yeah.
And like Canadian soccer, both on men and women's, have progressively moved up the ladder rankings over the last like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, the women's have been really good. The men's, it's funny because like I think about it now because we're hosting the World Cup in 26, I think it is, or 28. I can't remember. It's like USA, Mexico, Canada.
I think it's 28.
It might be 28. I think it is. But I remember like thinking about this at one point, and I was like, if you told me 10 years ago, like we were hosting, and like obviously the host country gets in, I would be like, oh, we're getting creamed, man. Like we're not even gonna like we're just gonna lose 5-0 every game. But like the way I'm apparently a fake Canadian.
Right.
The way Canadian men's soccer has come along, like they're good. Like I still remember that Alphonso Davies goal in the World Cup, and I like lost my mind. Like that was the first time they scored in the World Cup.
And we almost medaled in
was it CONCACAF?
CONCACAF. Where they have too many acronyms and like the competitions get confusing. Canada's playing in the Canadian Shield against Ukraine on like June 6th and 7th, and then they're playing somebody else too. And then the women's, on the day of the NHL draft, they have a game in Toronto too. So if you're a soccer fan and you live in like Ontario, you're like, I can watch the men's and women's team like 3 or 4 times a year. They played Panama earlier this fall.
Right.
And they played somebody else. I didn't end up going to the game. I can't remember whatever that was that I had to skip out on. But yeah, I like watch some great soccer, and Canada's players typically end up playing. Which is another fun facet, and the coach is sick.
Yeah,
he just talks. He's American. He's just like ripping into this, like ripping into America. Just like he gives like zero fucks. He goes to like CPL stuff and like tries to support them. I like the manager too on the men's side. Women's side, I mean, they had that whole cheating debacle last Olympics, which What the fuck was she doing writing that stuff in an email?
Yeah.
So-and-so won't cheat when I ask them to.
And because they also use the drone too, right?
Yeah, the drone was the
drone gate. That was crazy.
Yeah, who cheats, right?
Yeah.
And who puts it in an email? Like, don't leave a paperless paper trail.
She's a fucking idiot. That's what that is. Like, there's no getting around that. There's no defending it. There's nothing.
Yeah.
You're a moron.
The defense is if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's fair.
And speaking of which, because Babs always tries to fucking cheat, I guess we should pick our new parlay card here.
Yeah, whose pick is it?
Yeah, so
I picked last week, so
I'll go for it. Why not?
Right.
Take us away, Rahil.
Mr.
I'm
Rahil,
hoping
what is
it's
the
not a curveball.
crazy parlay card this week?
I'm hoping it's not time-based.
I'm going to make sure I
hope
read
it
it
is
correctly
time-based.
so that
You get
Babs
25
can't-
minutes to make your
picks in
bet.
25 seconds.
You have to speak. You have to pay.
This is going to be fucking awesome. That's why there's a dice. Roll 2 dice. The first number is your bet amount. The second is your parlay size.
Okay.
So I'm assuming 1 is $10, 2 is $20, or are we doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6?
I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Okay,
6.
that's a little
Right.
bit. That's a little bit more.
Oh.
stomachable.
Should we all roll our dice right now?
I'm fine to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Do we go?
No, because we all have to be the same though. So it's one person rolling.
Oh, okay, one person rolling.
Right, so that the scoreboard. Because if you get 6,
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
an advantage.
Right.
All right, Rahil.
You want me to do the
I think you got to
honors?
do
Rahil?
it.
Okay. All right. Here, how about
Let's do the honors.
Rahil rolls the
The dollar amount.
the dollar amount, and Terry, you can roll
Yes.
the lag amount.
So that way,
Ooh.
no one can say there's cheating.
Yeah. All right, let's
Or,
go.
here, hold on. I'm gonna film this too. Here.
Yeah, get an
Do I need to
aerial
like?
shot.
Do I need to like lift the dice up after and show the camera?
I mean, I was playing Liar's Dice. Have you guys ever played that this weekend?
4.
Four.
Okay,
Okay.
so $4 bet.
$4 bet.
$4 bet. Let's go 6, baby.
Watch it be 1.
Four.
4.
Ooh.
$4
Okay.
four-legger.
4. Let's
Four
go.
for
Here
4.
we go.
Okay, I like
Okay.
this. Babs, you're top on
Yeah,
leaderboard.
so
Any,
yeah.
I'm gonna go first because I'm about to go 4 for 4.
We'll see about that.
Good luck.
Let's see their challenge card though.
Yeah. I mean, hey, good thing I wasn't rolling the dice. I was playing Liar's Dice, the game from Pirates of the Caribbean this weekend.
Right.
That game is so much fucking fun. But let's get right into this. All right. Let's get into it, guys. Challenge card time. I feel vindicated. I feel like I've been given a raw deal. My card will be first half. All of my bets must be first half or first period only bets. So that's on a 4-legger. This isn't crazy. I'll make sure that I do this properly this time, though, as opposed to times previous. So, screen recording going here, and what should I do? First half bets. NBA first halves probably are the safest thing for me to try and put together here. But let's see WNBA first. All games active, so I'm not going to touch any of the WNBA. NBA. We got tip-off soon in this Knicks game. I wonder, it should have a line for half. This actually is pretty smooth sailing. First half alt spreads. Maybe we do the points? Okay. No, I think I have to go NHL first periods, right? Travel day. No. They played Saturday. Okay, first period should be fine. Carolina has to come out hot, right? So I think I'm okay with the first period in the Carolina game because, yeah, it's not travel day. It's game 4. Goal in the first 10 minutes would be very interesting. Very interesting. I'm not going to take goal in the first 5, though. First period total goals over. I don't like the 1.5s. Alt total goal. Can I get a minus 500 leg on a goal in the first period? I wonder if I have shot props. I do have shot props for the first period. None of these are like grabbing huge favorite picks. I'm just trying to get my first 3 legs to be like chalky like I do, and then put the 4th leg in where there's the risk. That way I'm still getting a good pay. First period. Do I have a first period puck line? I do. No, I'm going to add goal in the first 10 minutes. Goal in the first 10, yes. I think either side's going to score. And then, do I do goal in the first 10 minutes of this Edmonton game too? It's been high flying. Yeah. No, I don't have the spread on that yet, so I can't even touch that game. This is the longest I've taken, I think, doing one of these guys. I've been really taking my time here. First half or first period only. What do we have in soccer? UEFA. That's too far. This Chelsea game actually should be kind of interesting. So where's my halves for this? Chelsea at Betis. Goal in the first half. Yeah, goal in the first half of the Europa Conference League. Match between Betis and Chelsea. That's 2 legs thus far. Am I thinking too hard about this? Yeah, the NHL, first period bets are tough. I might even take that NHL bet out. First halves, CFL. Do we have CFL stuff coming up? No. We don't even have CFL lines yet. We are getting in the dog days of summer already, and it's still spring. NBA first half bets. There's got to be some chalk in here. First half in the NBA. Man, I am out of my element on this one. First half alt points. I don't want to touch the spread. Maybe the total points is fine. And we'll go over 105. No, there's no point in the difference. I won't change too much of the parlay, will it? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to take over 5.5 in the first half of the Knicks Pacers game. Strategy-wise, the first half cuts out props pretty strongly. Is there more soccer first halves? Maybe I'll claw back something. The PSG, the featured stuff right now. EPL just ran out. Okay, we do Wednesday night. TFC is playing against Philly. First half, what do I got? Okay, another leg there that's not bad. Over a half goal in the first half of that game. So my 4-legger right now is plus 300. So now I can add an absolute just a guaranteed pick. But what should that be? Heavy favorites this week. Wednesday, Inter Miami against Montreal. Yeah, maybe we'll take a bet there as well. First half. So my $4 4-legger. Well, that's 14. Don't want to do that. $4 4-legger. Oh, there's 5 legs on this. What did I do? Actually, you know what? I'm going to take out goal in the first. I'm going to take the NBA out. I'll take the NBA play out. I've got a 4-legger, $4, pays 11, plus 299. This is fine. This is the most out of my element I've actually felt doing this, but we'll lock that in.
All right, 4 for 4. That was a fun little parlay card. I wasn't expecting that. Rolled 2 dice. First was a 4, so that's how much we're betting, $4. And then the second was a 4-leg parlay. That being said, though, no one really cares about the parlay card. It's really this next card that's really going to either gain you an advantage or screw you over. How screwed am I? At least 1 leg must be on a niche league. Example, darts, table tennis, etc. That I don't want to talk about that. I'm just gonna get into it. Let's just get what is defined as a niche league? Like that's the thing. I gotta use my brain here now. Oh, I hate this, guys. This is awful. Let's just get the niche out of the way. Okay, so it talks about darts. It talks about table tennis. Is NASCAR niche enough? I don't think so. So I'm not gonna do NASCAR. E-basketball, e-basketball might be good enough. I think so. I think that might be a good one. There's a game that starts in 3 minutes. If I could lock this in, they're a 230 favorite. The Phoenix Suns crypto against the Milwaukee Bucks Discord, they're minus 230. I'm picking that because why the heck not? And then I think we have some NBA tonight. Yes, we do. I have 3 minutes to get this done if I want to get that in. This is going to be fun. We're going to do I want to win some money here? We're going to do, can I do points, rebounds, and assists? Yes, I can. Points, rebounds, and assists. Ooh, this is spicy. No, actually, I'm going to be safe here because you know what? It'd be great to win money here, but I'm in second place, and I have a feeling Babs might have had a tricky one, and I want to get into first place here. So we're going to go for, and we have a tricky one with that esports one. So I'm going to go for Siakam. We'll do 15 points. Siakam, you're going to get 15, right? I'm trusting you, Pascal. And then I want to go to PWHL playoffs. That is 5 o'clock game tomorrow. We're going to lock that one in, actually. Let's do some Charge or the Frost. I actually don't know. I don't like either of those. I feel bad for our producer. I go so back and forth all the time, guys. We're gonna go Old Faithful here. We're gonna go to the Carolina Hurricanes and the Florida Panthers game. I'm gonna go for 2+ shots on goal. I'm going to go with Sam Bennett. It's going to get 2. And I'm going to go for Lundell gets 1. So our 4-leg parlay, we have Sam Bennett to record 2+ shots on goal. Anton Lundell to get 1+ shot on goal. The Phoenix Suns crypto money line in East basketball over the Milwaukee Bucks Discord. And then Siakam to get 15+ points. $1 is going to win me $1.42. You know what? I don't even care. I want to get first place. Bet has been placed. Let's do it, guys. Sweet.
Did you bet $4?
I bet $1. Oops. Oops. Let me go back. Thank you. I can't cash that out. I gotta reuse selections. Oops.
No, that's fine. You fucked up.
All right. You know what? Yeah, we'll take it. I fucked up. We'll take that. All right. Let me just. That's actually fucking hilarious. Let me just remove selections. All right. Well, if I win $1, if I win, I'm getting $1.42. I'm getting me a McDonald's summer drink because I think they're $1. All right. That was fucking funny. I'm not fucked with that, am I? No. Oh, I'm gonna get roasted, but I'm not fucked bet-wise, I think, right? Yeah, 4-leg parlay. I'm gonna double check it. Yeah, it's a 4-leg parlay. I just bet the wrong dollar amount. Okay, well.
We have one idiot every week.
I'm the idiot of the week. I'm not gonna bring it up until the very end because I'm gonna play Bab's game. Okay, so I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring up my bet, but I'm not gonna bring it up until the end and be like, oh, by the way, I bet $1.
Alrighty. We are back from a terrible last eavesdrop room where I went 6-5. Let's get back to the home screen. So, Mr. Rahil pulled roll 2 dice. The first number is your bet amount. The second number is your parlay size. So that's what we're dealing with. So we have to do a $4 bet and a $4 bet and a 4-leg parlay. So we're going to pull my challenge card. And mine today, 2 legs must come from the same game. So 2 legs from the same game. So I don't think that's really that bad of a challenge card. That's actually pretty good. So I wonder what the hell Babs and Terry and Rahil's gotten, because it seems like they took, because like we never do this where like the other people can hear the bets. Like we are isolated in this room. And like it's just interesting because like when we're waiting outside or in a completely separate area and we're like, wow, that's taken a fucking crazy long ass time. It gives the other people like concern because like, wow, like are the challenge cards that producer Nick created like just crazy or what's going on this week? So, okay. At least I don't have to get timed and do this in a fucking minute with the timer going off and all that crazy bullshit. That is spook. Okay, I want that on the fucking record right now. That's not set up whatsoever. The second I just fucking said that, the studio timer went off again while it's my turn. Nick, did you fucking hear that?
I did not set that up.
Do you know how fucking like crazy that shit is? That's spooky. Is that not?
That's pretty weird.
Oh, like that's like I got fucking goosebumps and chills right now. That was not set up, not planned. Maybe that's a really good omen because last week I fucked up when it went on. Today it's going on. It's at least I was just about to start my bets. Okay. All right. The betting fucking gods are on my side tonight. We're going 4 for 4, baby. 4 for 4. All right. Here we go. So 2 legs must come from the same game. So at least 2 from the same thing. Okay. This should be easy. Okay. Gotta go 4 for 4, baby. So let's take a look at NHL. We got the fucking Florida game. I don't have to do players or teams or money lines or anything like that. I can just do 2 from the same game. All right. So let's take a look at shots. Record 1 shot. Let's take a look here. Like Florida's been fucking dominating. Dominating. They're going to sweep the Hurricanes. You know damn well I'm going to be taking some fucking Panthers here. Ekblad did screw over 2 of the Kings, though, on the last pick, so I'm not feeling Ekblad. Seth Jones, Brad. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to take Marchand. And I'm going to take Barkey. So 2 legs must come from the same game. Okay, and let's take a look at Edmonton, Dallas on Tuesday. I feel like I'm pulling a fucking... Oh, yeah, they're not going to give me... Let's see here. Total goals. No, will it be overtime? You know what? We might have to go back. You know what? Let's take a look at NBA. I do have a couple minutes for tonight's game. I could bet on tonight's game. Oh, the Knicks have fucked me 2 games in a row on my bets, though. So let's take a look at player points. Halliburton. Yeah, he's always up and down. Piasco. And Halliburton. And we have to do a $4 bet. You know what? I'm gonna take it because I'm not worried about the money. I'm worried about getting the 4 points against the Kings. So Siakam, Halliburton for 10 points each. And I've got Brad Marchand and Barkov to get 1 shot on goal each. $4. 2 legs come from the same game, which I've got times 2. And I've got my 4 bet. We're locking it in, baby. Ah, the fucking betting gods with the timer. Here we go. Here we go. Going 4 for 4. 4 for 4.
So roll 2 dice. First number is your bet. Second is your parlay size. So we're 4 and 4, and we've got our new Sofa Kings challenge card of the week. Why? You cannot bet on any team or player with minus 200 odds or more. Well, I'm going to be honest. My game plan was to go tennis and just take the most random fucking tennis bets. Now, I'm kind of fucked. Oh, all right. Let's take a look at MLB right now and see what we got for tomorrow. Oh, I can't go over minus 200. Fuck me. Okay. We'll take LA Dodgers money line. We will take the Diamondbacks money line. Okay, so 180, 190. Fucking hell. Okay, what else do we got here? Let's go NBA. We'll just click on the game and we'll see if there's any, like... Oh. Oh, man. 30 points in a game just seems insane. God damn. What about rebounds? Is there anything under rebounds that would be worth it? Oh. Isaiah, again, he did good for me last week. He literally got the last rebound. Oh, maybe I'd take something like that. But he literally got his last rebound for me at the end of the game, which was kind of huge. Oh, what about hockey? Is there anything going on in hockey that... Do I take Florida? Oh, man. I feel like Carolina's almost due for a win. Is there anything under shots? It's all first period. Shots, here we go. Okay, let's look at 2+ shots. This is actually so tough. The minus 200 is fucking me.
Now, just to be clear, your overall parlay doesn't have to be minus 200, but you can only bet on legs that are minus 200.
Or more. Yes. Yeah. So that's what's like, I can take anything, but I want something that's going to hit. I'm down so bad. I need things that are going to be almost guarantees. That's my issue right now. Oh. Fuck, this sucks. Okay, take a look at some, you know. Is there any hits? Hits and runs. No, I'm not even getting individuals. Oh, that's the worst part about being a day behind for some of these. Okay, let's go back to NHL. This is tough. Players to get an assist. Oh, man. I'm struggling right now. Okay. Can I get shots at this point? No, I can't. Oh. All right. We're just going to do some +2 shots, I think, maybe. Barkov at 188. And let's go. Man. I want something easy. Give me an easy line here. Okay, you know what? 10 points. I want to take Naz Reid almost. Something tells me I'm going to regret that. Okay, let's keep looking. 15 points. Is there anybody? Oh, I hate this so much right now. The worst part about this is because I'm so far down, I'm like overthinking everything here. God damn. I'm just going to take, I think I'm just going to take a game straight up and just go with OKC. So $4, I win 1976. I'm going to bankrupt the app with that. Jesus Christ. All right. Snake a screenshot of that and put it in. We're locked, loaded. And even if I win all 4 of these, I'm not taking first place, but we're coming for it.
Back in, I'm closing, so not me.
Can do it. Well, my challenge card kind of sucked. I couldn't have anything over -200. And my game plan going into this, I was just going to go tennis and take like the stupidest odds. But
Yeah.
that really put a wrench in my plan. So I took the Dodgers money line at 190, -190. Barkov to get 2 shots, -188.
So was Barkov one shot over 200 then, or -200? That's why he took the 2.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I got the Arizona Diamondbacks money line and then the OKC Thunder money line. Yeah, both of those.
Interesting
hoping for the
card.
best here.
I feel like that's one that you're not like. It's not the end of the world, but it does kind of like hurt you a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and you're coming off like your best week.
Yeah.
So like, do you think you're not as confident like even as like last week? Shouldn't you
No.
feel more confident than last week's?
Not a chance. I wanted guarantees. That's what I was hoping for.
That's
and
fair.
This is none of those are guarantees.
That's
Right.
fair.
Barkov getting 2 shots is like probable.
He got one shot last
Probably,
game.
yeah.
So-
But exactly.
He got one shot last
game.
I'm like,
Right, but two of you guys took Ekblad last week,
And he
the
didn't.
last
Yeah, and he
episode,
didn't.
and he didn't hit.
He didn't
so.
hit. No,
Yeah.
but
So
they
what
had no
about-
reason to keep shooting at a certain point.
Right.
Right. So like
True.
that's where you can get burnt. My card is the hardest I've had to excluding last week, but the hardest I've had to do because I got first half or first period only bets. So that reduces the board down by about to like 30%, maybe less,
Yeah.
maybe 15% left. So I just took the yes and the goal in the first 10 in the Panthers game. I figured Carolina's either going to come out hot or Panthers are going to come out hot.
Right.
Panthers
gotta
going to
be-
score in the first 30 seconds of the game.
There's
dude.
got to be
probably.
something's got to
Unreal.
break there.
Yep.
And then I have 3 first half over a half goal in soccer. So I've got the Europa League, Betis versus Chelsea over half in the first half, TFC Philadelphia over, and then Inter Miami, CF Montreal over. So mine was plus 299.
Right.
Hard to do, and the props for first halves or first periods, I just was like, fuck all of this.
Yeah.
I went with what I thought was the most probable area for me to be able to have success in.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I got, and this was a pretty rough one. I had to bet on a niche league, and it said bracket, darts, table tennis, etc. So like I had to bet on something
Ooh.
obscure. So I got a couple hockey, I got a basketball one, and then I was like, yeah, I got to pick something like obscure. And I'm looking, I'm like, is NASCAR obscure? I was like, no, not really. So I bet on e-basketball.
Wait. So was it only one of the picks had to be
Yeah,
obscure?
one of the picks.
Oh,
but
that
like,
kinda sucks.
that, like, it was like tricky because like I had no idea what I'm betting on. So I went to
Could've been the whole
e-basketball,
thing.
and I'm like e-basketball. I'm like I don't know. I was like Phoenix Suns crypto. Crypto's money. Money's good. So I picked them to beat the Milwaukee Bucks Discord.
Let's go Bucks.
The name sounds really weird, but
They're called the Bucks
yeah,
Discord.
my payout was like
That's amazing.
one, like it was under plus 200 odds, so it was decent. My
Mm.
other picks were a little bit more favorable. I had some shot props in there and then a basketball prop in there. But that was a bit of a curveball. Kind of got me to really look elsewhere. I really wanted to dive deeper, but I saw e-basketball and I was just like, this is niche enough. Like
Sure.
this is like I didn't even know anything about e-basketball, so
Right.
I was like, let's lock it in.
Yeah, you got a smile on your face. What the fuck's going on?
So you didn't take like, underwater basket weaving or some weird fucking
No,
shit.
I mean maybe next week we'll see.
So I came out yelling and happy because like I just fucking hated last week.
Yeah.
And that was just a nightmare. So my challenge card was I had to pick 2 legs from the same game.
Oh, okay.
So I was
That's
like,
not
all right,
bad.
that's a fucking beauty card.
Yeah.
That's easy.
I was like, that's awesome. So I was like, all right. So I first looked at NBA, and I was like, shit, like the game starts in like 4 minutes.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what, I could actually go after tonight, even though the Pacers have fucked me on everything that I've done with the Knicks
Mm.
in the last week. I was like, you know what, all right. So I went with Pascal Siakam 10 points and Tyrese Halliburton 10 points.
Smart.
Nice.
Locked
Safe
in.
bets.
Then went to hockey and Marchand and Barkov to have 1 shot each.
Nice. So
Oh,
So, like,
damn.
I feel very confident about it.
yeah.
Now here's the wild this is the wildest fucking thing, and producer Nick saw and heard the fucking whole thing. So I'm sitting down on the eavesdrop, I'm talking about the challenge card, and I was like, and like the minute before I went to go start like my bets and like going through the phone, I was like, you know what? At least this week I don't have to deal with the timer interrupting me and all that bullshit. And I mean within 1 to 2 seconds after I fucking said it, the fucking timer went on.
No.
And I was like, I pushed back my chair and I was white as a fucking ghost. I was
Yeah.
like, my hair was standing up on my arms, goosebumps.
Mhm.
I was like, Nick, did you just fucking hear that? And like, well, he's like, I don't know what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on. I was like, all right, I got burned from the fucking betting gods last week. I was like, maybe the betting gods are favoring me this week because I got a decent card. This is like an omen. I'm gonna fucking take it. I locked in my bets, and there we go. But it's the craziest fucking thing that I think maybe is so far happened in Suffolk.
That's absolutely hilarious. I could just imagine he was probably shaking in his boots.
Yeah,
guys.
you had Marchand and who?
Barkov.
Barkov.
Yeah.
You didn't want to take Bennett?
He wasn't in for the 1 shot.
Mr.
Ooh.
$10 million. Wait, $10
Mm.
million man wasn't in there?
No, he was not in there. And so, but Ekblad was, and I even mentioned it just before I started my bets too. Like just before I was talking about the timer, I was like, "Fuck!" Like these guys took Ekblad last week, and both of them got burned. I was like, "I'm staying away from it."
Yeah.
so I went with
That's
fucking
a good
Barkov.
call.
That's fair. You guys think Bennett's getting 10 mil or
God, who's desperate?
Toronto.
A lot of teams.
No, Toronto can't do 10 mil. That's the issue.
No.
It's
They
completely out of the
Yeah.
cards for Toronto.
Okay.
How high do you think Toronto could go? Like 8.5?
7-5.
Can't. Yeah, I was gonna say 7 maybe.
I see
don't think
if
it-
you say 7.5, you can't say no to 8. But you
It-
can't
and
go above 8.
No.
Yeah. It's. I mean,
You got to still figure out what's
Yeah.
going on with Matty Nyes though too.
yeah.
That's where like
I-
you
I
need
just-
to put the
Yeah.
money into that more.
I
I
really think that I really feel he's going to do a bridge deal. And that's been something that the Leafs have been notorious with, rookies that are coming off their 3-year entry deal. There's been, even what Matthews did a 4 or 5-year deal after his. He
It
didn't
was
go the full
5.
8-year
4 or
term.
5.
But there's a ton of examples where there's been, 3-4 year bridge deals right after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then and usually that's kind of timing with like the CBA and like when the next negotiation is going to be and when they can get like a higher term and they know they're going to get a higher payout.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they are taking a little bit of a risk and saying, all right, I'm not going to get injured or fuck up my life or my whole opportunity, but I'll bet on myself for the next 2 or 3 years, take a little bit less now so I can maximize what I'm doing and maximize my value in 3 years.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because I don't know if this is just me in a Montreal bubble or not, because I know a lot of the Montreal guys, like they're signing them like Slavkovsky got like an 8-year deal.
Yeah.
Is that the trend now in the league? Like, are more of these guys like out of their ELCs getting those 8-year deals? Because if they are you not offended a little bit as Matthew Nyes and you're like, why are you giving me a bridge? Like, here are all these guys getting 8-year deals and you're not like, if you want it what it's saying, especially with the fact that the cap's going up a lot this
Yeah,
year.
so that's the factor I think that plays the most
I
into it.
Yeah.
think you get a couple years out of him, and then it's like now we reassess where you're at. Maybe you're
Yeah.
worth 10 million at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not.
So do you think
Yeah.
he takes a bridge then? Or?
Yeah, I think he takes some bridge. I think he looks at it as
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
value add down the line where he maybe is able to add an extra like $20 million to a contract
Yeah.
as opposed
It's
to
huge.
if he goes long term now. If he's like a lifer, a Leafs guy, like he wants to be here, and say he goes, hey guys, give me 6.5 for 10 years, and they go, yeah, sure, you'll be 33 when the contract ends or whenever. Like that's fair, sure, and locks them up. Some guys might do that. Their agent would want to fucking jump off a bridge when that
I
would
was gonna
happen.
say.
But most agents, and this was brought up with Brian Burke and Jeff Merrick, that Canadian teams are on every player's no trade list because of the taxes. and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
saw
that.
that.
Yeah.
So it changes how I think contracts get done in Toronto
Mhm.
for American players.
You
And-
you,
Yeah.
you are
As
you
one of
are
them.
overpaying,
Yeah.
right? And you have to overpay because of the tax and
Yeah.
and all those reasons. And you are paying an incentive to also deal with Montreal or deal with
Yeah.
Toronto. Like those are difficult
Mhm.
markets. And yeah, you're a professional. You're supposed to be able to deal with that, whether you're in fucking Carolina or wherever, right? But it's just at the nth degree when you're in one of these like original 6 top markets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was Marty Baron who said like he's probably like he could get 10. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just stay in Florida for like 8.5, 9.
I don't know if they can afford that though.
So the two things to that. One, Marty Biron saying that leads me to believe it's probably Buffalo that would be willing to pay out the 10. And I could see Buffalo doing that for Bennett just because it's Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
And then to the other side of it, Florida, a lot of the guys take hometown discounts in Florida to stay there and play with that team. So are they going to go to Bennett and be like, hey, dude, look at what Kachuk's making. Look at around you. These guys aren't making crazy money, but we're going to the Cup every year.
Yeah.
Do you want to be a part of this, yes or no? And
Yeah.
you're going to ask most guys that, they're probably going to say yes.
The only thing you gotta pray if you're any of the other teams, he fucking hates Florida. He doesn't want to be he hates the warm weather.
Yeah.
He's just like a real
You
Canadian
hope a
guy.
crocodile ate his dog or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
just wants
he's a
out.
Canadian, like he's a real like crazy Canadian patriot, and he's like, get me the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no way.
Actually, well, based on the owner's comments that he tweeted out, maybe some of the Canadian players might be rubbed the wrong way a little bit with ownership there.
Right.
So that maybe,
Mhm.
okay, not maybe. Let's hope they are. Let's
Yeah.
hope they're.
Yeah,
like,
and
fuck
and,
this.
and dealing with Bill Zito, like he's a very intense general manager,
Mm-hmm.
and what like I, as an athlete myself when I was younger, like I always appreciated tough love and coaches that were harder because I wanted to play harder for those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
I was always a glue guy on a team, no matter if it was baseball or hockey or badminton, volleyball, football, whatever. But I appreciate that in a coach. I don't know how I'd feel about that as like my GM and like always talking about my contract or having that hard
Yeah.
line. But at the same time, like I've seen the complete opposite of what's happened in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like they've never taken a fucking hard line.
Yeah.
And this is the first year when I would actually really welcome. And I've said this over the last several years, but I mean, you have to do it this year when you're coming up to Tavares, and like, I just don't want to sign Tavares for more than 5. right? Like I would want to do my 3C at 3 or 4,
Yeah.
or take that. Tavares, you want to win? Take a fucking $1.5 million. Let us use the extra $3, $4, $5 million and give you another guy on your fucking wing.
Yeah.
Isn't he the one who was skirting taxes for a while though? He's
No,
not taking
that-
$1 mil.
It was a CRA thing. He's suing CRA.
He is suing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's
is.
suing CRA
That's funny.
because they allowed players not to get taxed at a certain rate on signing bonuses
Yep.
as a way to allow Canadian teams to be competitive.
Yeah.
And then CRA went, oh fuck, like we kind of got ripped off with all the Serb shit. Let's try and get some money back.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. I can just tell from
John
the sniff
Tavares,
of
give
it.
it up.
Yeah.
The sniff of it, that one's fucked up. But at the end of the day, I still love Johnny T, and he wants to be there. I think that adds dollars to a contract, unfortunately, because who else of John Tavares' ilk can you get at a price? I'm comfortable giving him, like I said, I think I was fine with 7.
Yeah, 7 area. would
7
be-
gives you a space to sign other pieces too.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe again, he's a guy who could do a bridge deal. You could say, hey, we'll give you 2 years at this price.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
we'll re-sign you again after.
That'd probably be the smartest thing.
And then
for
you
a
can
guy
do
his
the-
age.
McDavid, McCarr at the next year and throw money at them.
Or you
Yeah.
could do a Shea Weber. Hey, we're giving you 4 years at this. You don't play the last 2 years, okay? You're back.
Exactly.
Shea Weber just couldn't retire.
Where-
even though
Where is he
Robo-
now?
Robota
He's Utah
Island?
now?
Shea Weber is done now, I think. I think that contract runs out.
This
'Cause if
year.
he retired, Utah got hit with a giant penalty.
Yeah.
So he couldn't
Really?
retire.
I didn't
So
know
Shea
that.
Weber, who could not play hockey physically anymore, who was retired, couldn't officially retire.
Yeah, that was crazy. And then you got you picked a couple Pacers in your bet, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so the Pacers have just been screaming with
If-
every next pick that I've had
Yeah.
last week.
If the OKC game, if you were able to bet on that and use your players on that, would you be taking OKC after that blowout last night? They won
Yeah,
by like
that-
41
Yeah, it was
or
like
42.
what 141 to 101 or something like that.
143, yeah, something like that. Where it was
so
just like,
it was a crazy game. Like you expected Minnesota to claw back
Yeah.
and have like a good showing at home. I didn't expect anything like that. Like SGA still had a decent game.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't expecting. I don't think many would have put a bet, with it being 20 plus
yeah,
Mhm.
on the spread over that.
yeah. I mean, it depends on the game tonight, but like it looks like OKC is going to be the team coming out on that side. So I mean, like, I don't know. I probably would have done OKC stuff too if I were you, but I think you got some good bets there. So,
So now, did you have a unique situation that we need to talk about?
we don't need to talk about anything. No, we can end the show right now.
Because I heard producer Nick whispering in my ear before we sat back down from the eavesdrop room that there was a unique situation that happened.
Oh, you
in
mean that I bet the wrong dollar amount? No, we can end the show. See you guys later. We're done.
Oh, hey,
Whoa, what
voided
happened?
leg.
Yeah,
It's
what
probably
happened? Yeah,
so,
void it,
so,
void
so
it.
here's
Void.
the thing. Here's
Void.
the thing.
It's void. He fucked
You didn't
up.
follow the rules.
Yeah, you-
Void.
Yes.
So
Let's go, Babs.
So,
Let's go.
So this is interesting. So Rahil, please explain.
Right side
what-
couch
what
for the
happened.
win. Let's go.
So-
Fuck that couch.
So just to recap, Rahil picked the parlay card.
I rolled the first dice, which was how much we had to bet, and then I bet the wrong dollar amount.
Right.
So instead of $4, I bet $1.
I think you
Void,
can only
yeah,
win
he's
one
out.
leg.
He's out.
But my legs are accurate.
Yeah, but your
It's not
dollar
like
bet
you where
isn't.
your legs are wrong.
So the challenge card is correct, but
Yeah.
the parlay card is wrong.
Okay.
That's the
I'm
first
gonna-
card. The
I'm
start.
gonna
that
pitch 2 things. 1, the entire card is void. 2, if he wins any money, it goes to all of us and we split it.
Yeah, but what's your payout?
I'm good with that one.
Now, what's your payout?
I'm good with that one.
What's
Yeah,
your
true.
payout?
What
Good
is
with that one?
You don't get to choose. Fuck you. This is between us.
I think it was the same amount of money as Babs last week. I think I went like $2.40.
Okay, so
Oh,
then,
then-
based on that, I don't need your.
Yeah, we
need
don't
your
want your
pennies.
So-
we don't want your charity,
now,
dude.
hold
Get
on.
that shit out of
So-
here.
And once again, just like we did with last week, is the other 3 kings. Producer Nick also spoke about this
Yeah.
too. So Terry threw out a couple creative solutions. Babs, do you have any other creative solutions that you would like to tend to the?
I think
Babs
it's
wants
void. I
revenge.
think it's void.
I think
don't
it's-
think
I
the
like
parlay-
it.
the start. So hear me out. The first card and the first action was void. So all the actions that happen after that are also void.
But
No.
those actions
I
were
like
right.
the way you're
Yeah, but
thinking.
doesn't
right
Half
now.
of the parlay is right.
So if I shoot a guy but I give all the money I robbed from him to charity, that doesn't mean the charity people get
You're
to keep
Robin
the money.
Hood, brother. That's
someone
that's
else's
fine.
money. I shot
No,
the
no, no.
guy.
That's their money now. That's
I don't
fine.
know. I
We're good with that.
I think like
Also, you
it's-
knew because you rolled the dice.
Yeah, I made a mistake, and I'll point out what you did last week to try and save yourself. I at least was honest about it. I told
I was.
Charlie
I
about
was
it.
completely
He
honest.
was honest.
Yeah,
about
I
was
it. He
honest the
tried-
whole
and
time.
you got punished a little
He
bit.
tried
You
to
didn't
pull
get
the
completely
foreskin
voided.
over our eyes on the second round.
Because
when
technically,
we
if
came
we're
back
going off
today.
of your thing, if anything's wrong with our future parlays, the entire card
No,
should be
no, no.
voided
It's
then.
just the first thing wasn't followed. So the first card was wrong totally.
So the dollar amount isn't as important as the
The-
total
the-
legs. That's what you're arguing here.
I think he's
So
arguing.
the rules of the parlay card in terms of the leg and the challenge card were met.
To be
So
fair-
2/3 of the parlay were met.
Yes. So I would agree with how you just summarized that.
Yeah.
Because there are technically 2 actions on a parlay card.
Yeah.
Right? To which one of them was met.
Yeah.
And your challenge card was met.
Yeah.
However, your
The
bet
dollar amount was not met.
So now because it's not, if this was a 3-leg bet, I'd
Yeah.
say there's probably a good creative solution where you have to burn one.
Yeah.
And you'd have to burn one that won. So if you lost on another one, you can't burn the one that you lost on. So the creative solution here, and I'll throw this out based on what that was just mentioned. Do we burn 1 or 2 of his 4? And I'm just throwing that out. I'm not saying that Terry doesn't have a good solution. I'm not saying Babs doesn't. I'm saying all 3
Let's talk
things
about this.
are right and wrong in a
Listen,
sense.
you know what?
$4
I cannot believe week over week one of you fucking idiots keep fucking up a card.
Literally,
So
Nick was like,
I
"There's
think
always
I'm
an
going
idiot
to
every week."
Amazon and I'm buying a fucking banana suit, and whoever fucks up the card next has to wear a banana suit for the entire
I'm
episode.
down
No.
for that.
100%. Hear my logic. A $4 4-legger, $1 for each leg.
Yeah.
So you risked $1, so you have 1 leg.
So
that's also an interesting
here's my
point.
counter
Because
argument.
I
Okay.
like that.
So
Yes, let's
Here,
go.
here's my counter
That was
argument.
Good. That's it.
We're,
That was
we're all
terrible.
arguing
Hopefully
here
we don't
about
get that.
we're all arguing here about the dollar amount. We don't even keep track of the dollar amount anywhere. The dollar amount is irrelevant. The only thing that matters on the scoreboard is what's hit.
To be fair, the dollar amount is not there until after month 1.
This is the first time we're knowing about this.
Yes.
Yeah, dollar amounts
Which
do
we've
matter.
all known since the beginning.
All right.
So is
I like
there,
Bab's
so
idea.
Is there a creative solution between the 3 of ours that maybe is amenable to the situation?
He can win 2 legs.
So you can win half.
I'll
That's
throw-
half-
meet in the
that's meaning us-
halfway.
That's meaning us all
I'll
halfway.
throw
Okay.
I'll throw an alternative. I'll accept that one. What if I can lose 1 leg, but you guys get to pick my leg?
No.
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 Okay.
No.
So
No.
2.
2?
2 legs. I think.
Now
2 legs.
2. Do we
That's-
get to choose which legs? Is
No,
this
you
like-
just said no. You're not choosing. So you
No.
still
I
guys
don't
get
think
to
you
choose.
choose. I just think he can only have 2 winners.
Okay, so done. So the
So
max I
the
can do is
best
I think
you
that's
could
fair,
do,
right?
The best you
Yeah.
could do is 2 of 4.
Kind of meaning what I said, kind of.
That's fair. So the best I can do is 2.
I
say we
as-
look at his card and then we choose what part of his leg
No,
we cut off.
He
We cut
just
at
said
the-
he just
you
said
know?
that choosing stuff
we
doesn't
cut
count.
at the thigh. Do we cut at the knee?
No, it's too. I just you can only go 2-0 at the best. You
Okay.
can go 0-2 or 0-4.
I can go 0-4. Yeah,
Yes,
but like,
sorry, I should phrase that better.
Yeah,
Yes, you're no matter what. If you win 2, you're 2-2, even if you won more than that.
okay. I'm content with that a little bit, I guess.
So
Just-
so we've had Nick screw up the scoreboard.
Yes.
We've had Rahil fuck up, and we've had Babs fuck up. So Terry,
we've
we're-
had Terry read a card wrong because last week he thought we were doing one minute per bet for 11 minutes.
Yeah, but at least he didn't.
Yeah, I
screw
didn't
up a card
understand.
or anything.
Okay, I didn't understand
He
the
couldn't
card.
read.
That's
Yeah.
different.
I can't
All right.
count.
That's
He can't read.
That's
We're
just a
perfect
literacy.
together.
That's just a literacy and handshake problems from us all a minute ago too. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cut that
we've
part.
got a really fucking tight race right now. Terry made up ground last week,
Yeah.
and it's going to be really interesting to see when we come back for the next episode.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good after that. I mean, that's a boo-boo, but that's on my end. So if you guys are watching this, please like and subscribe for my sake because I feel like a complete idiot right now. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.